Fourth one in May, 10th one in the journey so far. I can't believe how fast this is going. We're really nearly reaching the point of our end goal. So getting to Yarmouth, bit of time in Yarmouth, and then setting off towards Brighton, and the weather is still lovely. Right, okay, just to put it again in context, we've come over from Watch It here up to Swansea, round this part of the UK, it's the UK here, and we're on our way from Portland to Yarmouth on the Isle of Wight, which is about 40 miles, so about 8 hours. And the key bit about this journey is what's called the Needles Channel, which is quite famous or infamous, depending on which way you want to put it. Two ways of doing it, either through here, the main way, or the so-called North Channel. The North Channel is supposed to be a little bit, well, it's supposed to be significantly easier, and I decided to do that because we're basically trying to avoid the shingles, which is here. And when this is in bad condition, it's supposed to be one of the nastiest bits of water in the UK. It was a reasonably calm day. It was still rough, I mean, to be quite honest. So I cut near to Hurst Point. We'll have a look at this. I wanted to video this, and unfortunately the video camera didn't work, the fake GoPro, because as I got to here, it got extremely rough, possibly this bad, I don't know, it got extremely rough for a little while, and then it just smoothed out, and it was literally sort of 50 yards. It was an extraordinary thing to witness, and I could look over this side to where the Needles Channel was and see how much worse it was. So I was pleased that I did that. So as I say, unfortunately that camera didn't work, and then I came in here and into lovely Yarmouth, where I decided to stay for a day. I've got a relative, my very groovy auntie is on the island, so we went out for a meal, had a tour of the island, and again it was lovely to actually stay. And then the next step was going to be a very long leg off to Brighton. But let's just have a quick look at Yarmouth, shall we? Whoops, nearly missed getting the iconic shot. That's absolutely... I'm doing the North Channel, which is why I'm probably a bit further away from Needles than you might expect, but there they are. Isle of Wight, Needles. There we are, done my duty now. That's Hurst Point, and you get very, very close to that if you're doing the North Channel, but unfortunately, as I say, my video didn't survive, but I was literally 100 yards off of there thinking, wow, this is close, but it's deep. And then you can't quite see the Needles Channel, but it's sort of just out there. And then really not very far to Yarmouth, and we were actually covering about 8 knots over the ground as I got close. There is a nice big harbour entrance, but you kind of want to time it so you're not coming in the same time as one of these big boys, because they do have priority. So here's a yacht making the entrance into the harbour. As I said, very straightforward, just don't get tangled up with the ferries, but there is actually plenty of room because it tends to sort of stick to one side. And it's a shame that I didn't manage to video it, but you basically call in and then the harbour master meets you in a little dinghy, a little sort of, well, it's actually a water taxi they use for the moorings, but the harbour master greets you at the entrance in his little boat and then literally leads you directly to the mooring. And he was very kind and said, oh, we've got a nice sunset tonight, do you fancy a nice berth with a sunset? So very, very highly recommended place. So there's Serenity bobbing up and down quite nicely, but to be quite honest, this is nothing compared with some of the bobbing up and down that you get in Watch It. Very, very, very nice marina. Keep saying that, don't I? But it's true. Bobbling around quite nicely on their moorings just outside of Yarmouth. It's a lovely day, nice wind, but completely in the wrong direction. So hopefully I've made the right choice to delay my departure by a day. I don't think the wind's going to be in a different direction, but at least it's not going to be so strong. So I'm going to see if I can work the tides a little bit more cleverly. Lovely time spent in Yarmouth, but time to go. There wasn't going to be very much wind. What there was going to be against me, so I decided to make a dash with the tide out of the Solent, and I would have to well, in the end it turned out I had to hand steer all the way. Just got to about this point, by the way. It's a shame I didn't have a camera facing the other way, because the ferry was there, and I thought based on when it left yesterday it would stop for ages, but it started to pull out, so I had to leave, and you can see some of its wake there, so I'm literally following right behind the ferry. So goodbye Yarmouth, yet another lovely, lovely place. So glad that I spent the extra day on the Isle of Wight. It was really delightful. I'm not keen on the Solent because you get lots of these things and they go very, very fast. But we're fairly early in the morning, it's about 6:30. The sun is not long up. And Yarmouth fades away into the distance. And the wind is exactly in front of us. Well, there's Cowes over there, and a little dot on the horizon a little while back was there was a boat, so I was looking to see, are we on a potential collision course, and it's going about 30 miles an hour. This is one of these astonishing, very, very fast catamaran-y things. So yeah, Cowes, famous for sailing. There we go, that's probably a better shot of Cowes. Lovely day. Didn't stop there this time, have been there before. Very busy. You've got to really watch out for ferries and things across the entrance. Right, this is 8 hours in. I've got about 20 miles left to go to Brighton, and this is quite spooky because there's this sort of tent thing over there that looks really like Butlins in Minehead, which is where I left from. So unless I've drifted back in some crazy way, it's just slightly weird. I've got no idea where that place is, by the way, but I might find out. And it's a fairly boring old cruise. Anyway, blah blah blah. So here we go, coming up to Brighton, and you think you're going to be a lot closer than you are, but it is massive. It is the biggest marina in the UK. And it was a lovely day, but that was a long, hard slog. I was just about on time, actually. It was about 13 hours. You just follow the buoys in. There's lots of shifting sandbanks and so on. And normally, you know, it's a lovely calm day. There's no wind. I've got all the fenders out. I've got my ropes arranged. And normally coming in from this sort of point, it's just plain sailing, and you've seen me dock 1,000 times. But it didn't quite work out this way this time. See if you can figure out why. I'll show you the trace on the chart. So into Brighton, you can see very straightforward, just follow the buoys around. Massive, great big marina, the biggest in the UK. And so if I'm coming in so nicely, and by the way, these fingers aren't on there, so just ignore that. If I'm coming in so nice, as you saw in the last little video clip, what happened here? What didn't I take notice of? Those of you who know Brighton will possibly know the answer to this, but the shameful truth will be revealed next time. Sorry, that's the second time I've left on a cliffhanger, but I really messed it up. I really did mess up the parking big time then. It was entirely predictable, but I didn't predict it, so I think that's the tiredness of hand steering for 13 hours. That's my excuse. Anyway, I'm sticking to it. Anyway, see you next time.